So there's so many talented cats, and Boo Milton being one that sat down with us. What's next for them? How do they move forward?
It would just have to take an understanding. Like me, I do believe that I still have the ability to break artists, and I still do feel like I have the ability to get new artists through. But what it's going to take is avenues like the Rouge Network. It's going to take avenues like maybe somebody coming up with a magazine. It's going to take somebody coming out with another video show. It's going to take, you know, those different avenues to really just get back. Somebody's going to have to open up a hood club around Baton Rouge and let these rappers get on stage again. You know, we have to be able to create our own celebrities in order for this thing to keep moving, because like right now it's over with, you know. And I even take a lot of that as the result of a lot of the DJs around here too. You know, the cool thing, there was a time period where the cool thing to say as a DJ to a promoter in Baton Rouge was, well, I don't play all that jig music. Well, you know, I'm different from most DJs. I don't even play that jig, you know. And what that did is it put a stench in the air, you know. And what they did is they ended up hurting the market more than they helped the market, because our music in Baton Rouge is what we have. Like, if I've been blessed to be able to DJ all over the state now. You know, I'm always booked in another city somewhere else, 2-3 hours away from here. And everywhere I go, guess what music is hot? The music that's hot right here in the 225. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about we all the way in Mississippi, we all the way in Alabama. The music that's hot out there is the music that's hot right here in Baton Rouge. So what does that tell you? If you cut off this water source right here in Baton Rouge, what it does is it messes up all the music across the board. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I stayed in Jacksonville, Florida for a few years. And I remember when Boosie was popping in Jacksonville, that was music that we had heard a year, 2 years before that they had just got exposed to. And I was always like, you know, man, you're late, you know, you're behind. But the buzz happened from cats like you and all of these cats that's been in the game, you know, putting it out there.
And free Boosie, man. Shout out to Boosie, man. And my time really working with Boosie. For those who don't know, I worked with Boosie probably like the last year, you know, kind of helping them get endorsements and helping them launch the label and dealing with the label and traveling with them and stuff like that. And that's really kind of what opened my eyes up to how powerful Baton Rouge, Louisiana is, not just in Louisiana, but throughout the whole South. You know what I'm saying? Like when Soulja Boy came down for one of the radio station promos, and Soulja Boy performed and Jim Jack performed, and there was no difference in the crowd reaction in both of the performances. So then all of a sudden, maybe 2 or 3 days later, we seen Soulja Boy with a song that he put on YouTube called the Drive Song or something like that, when he was basically doing the Drive Song in the thing. So basically Baton Rouge influences music, and Young Reddy came out with the Duffy song, and next thing you know, all of a sudden Waka Flocka is saying Duffy, you know, all the way in Atlanta after he just came for a show in Baton Rouge. So it's just, you know, Baton Rouge has a strong influence throughout the whole, you know, South. And going on the road with Boosie is really kind of what showed me the influence that this city has. But it's like a SOS right now, you know, it's like a SOM. Like somebody needs to come save the music around here, you know what I'm saying? And the radio station played such an important role, and now that the radio station doesn't play the local music, it's like we're in a state of danger right now, you know?
So what happened that Earl's not on the radio anymore?
Well, basically it just got to the point where I just really, like, being stripped of, you know, being live on the radio. Everything was pre-recorded. I still even managed a way to, like, all of my confessions and 8 o'clock confessions and all that stuff was pre-recorded. I'd be sitting at home watching TV, you know, on the radio, entertaining thousands and thousands of people, you know, and I just felt like there was a value to that, you know, and you know, I was getting paid $65 a week, you know, real life, you know, like $65 a week. I worked I went through college, I hustled hard in the streets. People who know my story will tell you, you know, I worked really, really hard. I couldn't get on the radio, so I was using Ustream. It took me 8 years to get on the radio in Baton Rouge, even like Twitter, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook and MySpace. I had more followers on all of those social networks than all the people at the radio station before I was on the radio. And that's really why I got hired, you know, because I kept pushing, you know, because, you know, through politics, there was a particular DJ who still works at the radio station. You know, that was like his boy, you know, my boss, Jay Tweezy, that was like his boy. And if somebody wants to come work for the Rouge Collection and someone who already has a sweatshirt, who's always been working with you, and someone new comes and says, oh, I want to come work for the Rouge Collection, and someone who's been working with you says, oh, no, that ain't a good look, man, you don't need to do that, you don't need to do that. What are you going to do?
Right.
You're not even going to get to know that person, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what was happening. I was getting hated on by somebody who didn't even want to do what I wanted to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always wanted to be a radio jock. I'm not a DJ who wanted to be a radio jock. I'm not an artist. I'm not somebody who wanted to be a publicist and it just happened that I got a job on radio. I always wanted to do radio. I wanted to be a radio jock. You know, that's where my heart was. That's where it's, you know, kind of still is. But so when I got in, and I had somebody who didn't even have the same dreams and goals as me hating on me for 8 years in order to get on the radio. Like, it was a funny situation. I gotta tell a story. I was at the Jigga Juice radio video shoot. I knew Lil Josh and Lil Ernest already just from, you know, promoting music in the streets. And I was trying to get Kevin Gates in the video because Lil Josh and them, they got their deal, and Kevin Gates, he was the artist that I was promoting. So I was trying to get him in the video. And so I heard that my boss at the time, Jay Tweezy, was gonna be there. So this was like my big chance to introduce myself to him so I could get a radio job. So I was like, okay, Jay Tweezy's here. You know, he knows me. This is my big chance. This is my big opportunity. I saw him. He was by himself. I went and walked up to him. I said, hey, how you doing, man? I'm DJ Ya Boy Earl. I put my hand out to shake his hand. He wouldn't even shake my hand. And I forgot what he said, but he dissed me so bad and said, you know, something, like you talking shit about me in the streets and something. And I had never even met him before. So at that moment, I was always thinking that if I worked hard and I grinded hard, that eventually I'd get a radio job. I never knew that the whole reason that I wasn't on the radio was because I was getting hated on, you know, on the side by somebody who was in the building. And so, you know, later on, after I got a job on the radio, after I just kept pushing, eventually he got to know me, Jay Tweezy got to know me as a person, and I got the job on the radio, you know, greatest day of my life, worked my way up to the top, and, you know, but all that to say this, so that was my journey to get on the radio. I was homeless in real life. I stayed in the Callaway Inn on Sherwood. Homeless, real life. There was times where I had to pick whether I ate or had gas money to get to class. You know, and that's really, in real life, like there was a big, I gotta tell this story. There was a big fountain in the front of Callaway Inn. There's change in the Callaway Inn in the little thing. The people who work at the front desk, they stayed up the whole night. I ain't had no food, hunger pains is real in real life. If you ever been so hungry that your stomach hurt, hunger pains are in real life. So I had to stay up all night. All I wanted was $1.07 to get some little jumbo jack from down the street on Sherwood. And I had to wait until 4 in the morning until the dude at the front desk that I was watching the front desk to leave so I can go in that pond and get me $1.07. I ended up getting probably like $2.80. You know, I had me 2 jumbo jacks and a little Faygo pop, so I was good. But that's what it took for me to get on radio. And then once I got on radio and the new company bought out and they changed our hours and stuff, I was on the radio my voice and my talent was on the radio for 40 hours a week, and they was paying me $65 a week. So I said, well, I'm gonna type up a formal letter. You know, I felt like it was illegal or something, so I started calling lawyers and all type of stuff, you know. And because there was a time where I got so sick I couldn't even talk and I could barely breathe. And I was actually out of town at the time, and so I needed to go to the hospital. You know how you sick, you know, us men, we're like, oh, we'll be all right. Like, I had to go to the hospital. I was out of town on vacation. I had to go to the hospital. And I went to the hospital, and I didn't even have no insurance. I didn't even have no, you know, and chances are it was something because my lungs or whatever wasn't adapted to be on the radio. You know, 40 hours of talking is a lot, you know, that's a lot of radio. You know, and then I was required to record it in 2 hours, you know. So it's just kind of, and that's not including being most requested for commercials. Like, and then it's funny because right now, since we're in Baton Rouge watching this, y'all understand how much my voice was on the radio. And y'all heard every time you turned on the radio, my voice was on the doggone radio. So I don't have to even tell y'all the story. I was getting paid $65 a week. So I worked hard I went to Southern University, worked hard. That's why I got my blue and my yellow on, man. You know, I know my yellow hat don't match, you know, but I went to Southern, grinded hard. I was in the yearbook all them years at Southern. Worked to get to the top of radio. When I got my radio show, I started just recording my show overnight. I was on the radio like 2 a.m. till 6 a.m. in the morning or something like that. And it just, I worked to the top, and I was making $65 an hour. So I wrote a formal letter the radio station, I mean to Human Resources and to my bosses, and I said basically, you know, I appreciate, you know, the radio job, and I appreciate everything that you guys have done for me, but you know, I need to get more money because, you know, I stay in Livingston Parish. So for me to drive from Livingston Parish all the way to Wooddale, 2 hours to get paid $14 a day, you know what I'm saying? It don't even make sense from driving. So, you know, I'm in the process of going broke, but I'm living my dream, you know? So something had to give. So when I sent my letter off, a few days went by, my PD came to me and said, well, yeah, man, I talked to Human Resources, and they don't have no extra money for you. So basically, take it or leave it. And through talks with Human Resources and stuff like that, I found out that my letter asking for the raise had never reached the people that it was supposed to go to, never went to corporate. I'm talking to corporate Human Resources. They don't even know that I even asked for a raise.
Wow.
And at that point, they sent me a, so at that point, they sent me a memorandum. And on the memorandum is painting me saying that I was a bad employee and all this stuff. Like, hold on, I wasn't a bad employee until I asked for a raise. Like, hold on, what is all this? What is all this? So they was about to railroad me out the door. So I just called it quits. And even in the conversations with Human Resources in corporate, it was just kind of like, well, do you want to pursue it, or do you want? They say you had the letter was never there, you know, blah blah blah. But I just let it go, because really through all of the process and going through all of the struggle and seeing radio change and, you know, all of that, it just took my love for it out of it. You know what I'm saying?